today we are going to talk a bit about self-care. I know we've talked about this before. I do want to touch on some new topics, and really I just want to hone in on why self-care is important, how often you should implement it, and ultimately, what are the impacts of self-care on your anxiety, and how can you have control over that? If today you feel connected to anything that I'm sharing, please like, subscribe so that I can get that feedback. Send me to a friend so that they can join our community as well. If you're ready to take the next steps in becoming your most healthy, authentic self and face your anxiety head on, you're exhausted, you're tired of fighting with it, and you're just ready to make that life change, please fill out the application below so that you and I can have a one-on-one conversation and ultimately together make a roadmap for your success and make a plan for how you can overcome your own anxieties, just as I am. This is not an easy fix. This is not a quick fix. This is something that takes a long time. You're training your entire body, your brain, to function in a different way than it's currently and has been functioning. So be patient with yourself. Understand that no one is perfect. And as long as you're trying your best, that's all you can ask of yourself. An imperfect day is just another imperfect day. It's not something to create more anxiety about. There are days where I have 1 or 2 days in a row where I get nothing done, and I've had to train my mind to say, your brain needed that. If I don't have the energy, if I've had 3 coffees and I've gone to the gym and I still feel like napping or have no motivation, there's a reason for that. I'm not lazy. My body is telling me something. It's time to take care of you. Slow down, relax, refuel. So important. Nobody can just go, 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 go. That's not sustainable. So for many of us with high functioning anxiety, you just go, 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 and then you crash and you have this period of time where you're not doing anything, you're not coping well, and you ultimately get more anxiety because the list of things to do is piling up. So by taking a step every day to feed that self-care, and by sprinkling those moments across the entire week, you won't end up with one full day where you just physically can't get up. You have to do it every single day. So I'm sure many of you have many tricks and tips for self-care. If you know of a really good one that is soothing and relaxing, or you have a meditation that you love to do, please share it on the comments below so that I can also try your tactics. I'm always looking for new ways to cope and face my mental health. And I'm going to introduce some of mine to you today. So the first thing I want to start with is just the mindset. So as many of you know, I lived in Hong Kong for the past 3 years, and it's amazing to see how a different culture faces some of the same issues that we face here in America and how it's handled differently. So especially when it comes to self-care, I've noticed that most of my life in America, self-care has always been seen as a reward. It's more so something that you do as a job well done, or you get enough money, you go get a massage. It's something relaxing. It's an add-on. It's not something that's necessary. Whereas you'd say like maybe going to the doctor to get a blood test, or going to a dietitian to get help with your diet, or an allergist for your allergies. Those are necessities. However, self-care is a reward, and that's just not true. I've noticed living with the Chinese culture, one of my best friends is local from Hong Kong, and her mindset is so different from mine. And I got to learn a lot from her, which I love, but she sees, and culturally, it is seen as preemptively taking care of your health. So by getting massages, getting a facial, letting your hair get done, it's not an added on expense. It's something you're doing to take care of yourself before the problem arises. Wow, how mature is that? That's amazing. Instead of being like, oh, I worked so hard for 6 days straight, today I'm not going to do anything. It's every day, okay, if I get a massage today, I'm going to be so much more prepared and relaxed for tomorrow. And my mindset will be clear and open to take in any new energies that come my way. Insane, right? Or just taking a minute to go get your nails done even, or take a bath. Turn your mind off. If you've been high functioning all day long, you shouldn't go 5 days and take a break one day. Every day, if you're high functioning all day long and you're running your brain all day long, your brain needs that rest. For many of us, even when we lay down to go to bed, our brain is not getting that relaxation. That is the time many of us overthink, which is why it's so important to have a wind down routine, and a routine that helps you to turn your brain off, turn your mind off, and just be with yourself, and kind of maybe even have some reflection of your day and of your person. So a huge thing for me that I love to focus on is eliminating the pollutions from your life, which is crazy, but there's so many different types of pollution. And I've been learning more and more the more I do my own research and listen to my own podcasts and kind of dive into my own health. So obviously we know pollution, like air pollution, all those toxins that we breathe in all day. Our skin is covered in things if you're outside all day. So for me, showering at the end of the night is huge. I feel like I'm just cleansing the toxins from my body. A hot shower is the best. I love to turn the steamy shower on and even sit on the shower floor, especially since there's COVID right now. There's not a lot of saunas open. So it's like my own little shower sauna, and just like breathing in that humid air, that hot air, letting it kind of resonate with me, and stretching even. Sometimes I sit on the floor of the bathtub and stretch in the heat. Oh, just like working out your muscles and those toxins is so important. Hydration as well. When you hydrate, you're eliminating the toxins from the internal of your body. So helping your water dilute everything that you've taken in that day. Then I'm now becoming aware of sound pollution and light pollution, which if you haven't researched these yet, I highly recommend you looking into it. It is so important. For me, I used to watch TV all the time, not during the day, but mostly like just before bed to kind of wind down. Ultimately, I would watch TV because my anxiety was so bad that if I laid there in the dark, I would overthink and ultimately not fall asleep. So I started having like a TV show on with the backlight on low and the sound down low so that I could kind of distract myself. And when I'd get into a show, I'd like stop thinking and then ultimately fall asleep. However, the light pollution that you get from all of that is so bad for your eyes. So whenever I'm working on the computer now, I have my little blue light glasses that I can wear, but there's also like red light and another type of light, and you can wear them to sleep at night to help your eyes eliminate that pollution while you're sleeping. There's eye masks. Absolutely crazy to me, but one of the coolest things I came across was take a bath in the dark. So turn all the bathroom lights off, have the hot water going, get your essential oils, and take a bath in the dark, because it kind of seems ominous at first, but it's like one of those salt baths almost. You're just there with you and it's silent. So you have no sound pollution, no light pollution. And it really forces you to be in tune with your body. Maybe if it freaks you out, have like a little candle off in the corner where it's not fully in your view, so you have a little bit of that flickering light. But really, just that's a deep time to sit there and reflect on your day and be with yourself and control your thoughts. And maybe even, I know a lot of people journal. Think about your journal entry before you're actually going to enter it. So soothing, but really allowing those pollutions to negate your body for the evening before you lay down for bed. So by eliminating light pollution, sound pollution, which would mean not turning on the TV before bed, not blasting music before bed, trying to put yourself in the most serene habitat that you can be, in order to lower all those tingling senses and ultimately help you settle down into a good night's rest. It really should focus on, I don't know, a lot of people always say like want versus need. Like, do you want a massage? Do you want to get your hair done? Probably, but we need to transition that mindset into, no, we need it. You need self-care every day, so that every day you can recuperate from the day that you've just had and be your best when you wake up the next day. On days where I'm moving from start to finish, I kid you not, I wake up the next day and I'm always at work like, you guys, I feel like I didn't sleep at all. I didn't get enough rest. The alarm went off and I was like, it's not morning already. You really have to make space in your day. Allow the time for that self-care. And that was hard for me because I'm a big person like FOMO. If anyone's out doing anything or watching something, I want to be a part of it. But training myself that I need that hour at the end of the night to recuperate has really transitioned my mindset. Even just sometimes I'll lay down and read a book. I'm still learning. I'm still kind of working, taking in knowledge, but I'm not overstimulating my brain. I don't have like sounds and lights, and I just try to like kind of get to a dim state, which is awesome. It's so important. One really big connection that I want to make for you today between anxiety and self-care is I've been doing a lot of meditational type videos and, reaching out to my inner child and understanding it and understanding where my anxiety truly comes from. And a big piece that I think for many of us that connects self-care to anxiety is self-worth. So for most of my life, I had really low self-worth, which I wasn't always aware of. I wasn't really in tune with that because many people don't talk about that. And if it's not something that's talked about, how are you ever educated or brought to be aware of it? So looking back, I did have very, very negative, low self-worth for a lot of my life. However, I always thought that like self-care would be connected to that. So, I'm not the type of person who deserves that. Or, I didn't work hard enough today, so I don't get to take that break at the end of the day. Or, oh, you know what? In college, I skipped class today, so I'm not going to treat myself to a relaxing bath tonight because I need to do work instead. Part of that is being responsible, but a huge part of that is just because your body was telling you you needed extra rest that day doesn't mean you trade it in for the self-care that's important that day. And self-care should be seen as a tool to help you grow stronger, not a reward after you're already strong. It is a stair step throughout. You have to give yourself that time off. And ultimately, I think that by implementing more self-care, it's actually helped me to increase my self-worth, because the more I think, oh, this is so relaxing, like I deserve to have this time, or it gives me time to reflect on myself and really think deeply, like in the bath, in the dark, think about all the positive things that happened in a day, and then I get to recuperate for the next day. And ultimately, that makes the next day so much more meaningful. If I feel rested and awake and prepared, then I get to wake up and face the day head on, ready at my 100%. I don't wake up at 50% and spend the rest of the day grappling to stay there. I wake up at 100% and I take on the day at 100%. So it's really a recycled thing, that self-care, that you need it every single day. And ultimately, that helps you grow your self-worth, along with a lot of other things that we can implement, like meditation, journaling, physical health, dietary health, all of those things, helping you understand your self-worth, and then ultimately growing and confronting your anxiety and overcoming it because you understand where it is coming from. Absolutely so important. So important. I said importance. So important. Another piece of that is when I wake up in the morning after I've had self-care, after I've taken care of myself the night before, I wake up. When I wake up at 100%, I can 100% see the difference. You probably can too. I wake up, and I'm a teacher, so I wake up and I'm ready to go to school, and I'm like, man, I'm just relaxed. I'm calm. My students come into the classroom and I'm always like, good morning. And I feel so warm and I feel happy to see them. And I'm prepared for my day. I have a sense of patience and I have a sense of understanding that I don't have when I don't implement that self-care. And my students feed off of that. And so does the rest of the world. So anyone you interact with on a daily basis, if you're not at 100%, they're going to pick up on that. And sometimes that's contagious. So when I go to work after I haven't given myself self-care, I'm burnt out, I'm on a 3-day binge of working, I haven't taken time for myself, I wake up, I'm exhausted, I haven't slept well, I go into work and it's like, I just feel panicked or crazy or annoyed or irritable. And I see that in my students. It reflects right back at me. So some of those days I'm like, oh, why are my students arguing all day? Why aren't they getting along? Why is everyone so irritable? And I have to stop back and go, it's because I am. It's because they're feeding off of my energy. I am the leader in this group and they are feeding off of that. So I need to give out what I want to be given back to me. And that's so important in your energy and your relationships. So by implementing that self-care, going to bed at a reasonable time, giving my body that rest, that sleep, that whatever it needs, whatever it's asking for. Again, don't starve yourself because you're on a diet. If your body's hungry, your body's telling you you need something. So listen to your body. And on the days where I wake up 100% and I've given myself that care, I go to work and I look at my students and I'm always like, good morning. So happy to see you today. And like my energy is in check. I can feel myself really being in tune and listening. And I kid you not, by the end of the day, my kids are the same way. They're all reaching out and showing compassion to one another. They're talking about their day. They're reflecting on their relationships. They're all setting goals and making plans to be successful. It is amazing the difference I see when I am a different person in the reflection of who they are. And so, especially if you're a parent, really realizing that impact that your anxiety has on your kids. Huge. You have to fill your cup before you can fill someone else's. And that kind of takes me back to like an airplane when they say, put on the gas mask before you help someone else. And that's huge because if you are low on energy, how are you going to give energy to someone else who needs that attention? You have to feed yourself and take that time for yourself in order to then ultimately give that time and that energy to someone else afterwards. It's all a cycle. It's all a piece of the relationship and communication with your energy, with those around you. So important. The last thing I want to touch on today is so many of us, when we get that heightened level of anxiety, when you go too long without self-care, this is what I say, when you go too long without self-care, you enter fight or flight mode, which happens a lot during a panic attack. And I've noticed this. When I go a really long time without self-care, the risk of me actually having a panic attack increases because I haven't taken that time for myself. So the longer I go, the more strung out I become, the higher my panic attacks kind of come on, and the faster I get into that fight or flight mode. And it actually starts to trigger issues or arguments in my relationships, whether that be with friends, with family, with my husband, with coworkers. Everything that I put out is reflected back to me. So remember that. You really have to implement self-care, especially if you're someone who's struggling with mental health. It is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Give your health a break. Give your mental health, your mind a break. Ladies, I hope this was helpful today. I hope you know that you can reach out. Please let me know if this was helpful. Subscribe, comment. If you're ready to take the first step, but you don't know what that step is, if you're a little lost, please fill out the application below so that you and I can work together in order to get you on a track to a successful, anxiety-free future and really become a very holistic goddess that I know you were meant to be. Really take care of your body, your energy, your mind, and your relationship.